Yes, welcome back to another episode of Two Bears, One Movie. We're talking about, obviously, Stranger Things. Here we go. And, where do I start? So, there is spoilers, so you know. So let's just get straight into this. So it takes up a year after everything has happened in Hawkins. They all think Hopper is dead, but we know he's now in a Russian prison. Elle is having a tough time in high school. She's being bullied. She is lying. She's lying to Mike. Will is obviously against it because, she's telling the truth. Meanwhile, at home, some strange things do occur. Obviously, because it's Hawkins and it's called Stranger's Thing. Duh. So a new body, a new force, a new villain has come to Hawkins to wreak havoc. Vecna begins to murder people in some sort of trance state. Similar, not exactly, but similar to Freddy Krueger, where they are in kind of a dream state in the upside down. They are being murdered, where their bones are being twisted and their eyes are popped out. A new character, Ed Munson, who is the leader of the Hellfire gang that obviously has Mike and has all the rest of the kids in it, and they play Dungeons and Dragons, but it's seen as some sort of cult following. He is blamed for one of the cheerleaders' murders. He goes on the run, and the whole town is turned against him. Max is obviously having visions and dreams and nightmares of her brother who died in the last season and sacrificed himself. Billy. She's broken up. She's obviously barely speaking to the rest of the guys. She's broken up with Lucas. She very rarely speaks to them now. She's become a bit of a loner, and she listens to her song in her the same song in her Walkman every day, which has a really significant impact in the actual series itself. So the gang begin to realise that something is a bit amiss, something is astray. What is going on? Meanwhile, back in sunny California, such and such, this type of money to that type of money to this blah 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 to go and rescue Hopper, as you can imagine. She takes Murray with him all the way to Alaska, where then they are basically they're fucked over basically, and Hopper's fucked over. And then Hopper is sent back into even a worse jail cell, where they will then fight a demogorgon, whatever the fucking creature was from the first one. So it's up to Joyce and Murray to rescue him, and that's one of the subplots that's happening while all the rest is going on. Back in California, Elle obviously has lost her power. She's being bullied. She ends up striking a girl in the face with a rollerblade. She is then arrested and taken away, and from there the army fucking secret services basically try to get her out. Well, they do get her out. They break her free, and then she basically has to fucking be taken to this big huge facility where, guess who's there? Papa is going to help her get her powers back by sticking her in one of these floaty little bathtubby things, where she gets some kind of net thing put on her head. She then is shown videos of the past and a massacre that's happened in the Hawkins laboratory, and she doesn't remember it happening. From there, she has to get her powers back by trying to believe in herself, and then there is obviously this one of the guards or whatever who takes a really little bit of a liking to her, and it seems a bit of a strange. It doesn't seem normal, and you believe that maybe this guy has something a bit more bigger to play in the series, which he does. Back in Hawkins, the gang get back together to try and make this big what's going on with all these murders. All these kids are being murdered. The police and all are out, and the parents are out and all looking for Munson, and the jocks are looking for him to kill him, and then more murders occur. They believe he is a spawn of Satan, because obviously he's a spawn of Satan, because what else would he fucking be other than a nerd? From there, Robin, Steve, the gang, they find out there's another actual gate to get into the Upside Down, which is underwater. They end up going into the so we need to go back before they go into the Upside Down. Mac, we know, is going to die, or we believe she's going to die, just exactly like the other children, because she has these visions. She sees Vecna. A lot of the horror here is really good. It's very Freddy Krueger-y, very Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's really good. Very It as well, and it's really, really good. And on top of all that, so the guys realise that she's going to go into a state. Max starts writing letters to all the people. So then Robin and Nancy pretend to be college students to go and visit this guy who basically was supposed to murder his whole family. He's blaming the same things that Eddie Munson is being blamed on. This guy called Creel, he's in a mental institute. They pretend to be students, blah 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 blah. His eyes are cut out, and it's played by none other than Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund. From there, he tells them the story of the house being haunted, how this showed them these nightmares of their past, how they were bad people, and the house is showing them wrong in life or whatever. The wife is killed, the daughter is killed, but then the son doesn't die, goes coma. That's when you start to query things and think, okay, this son has a part to play in it. Who the fuck is he? Because he's not dead. They are then led to believe that the way to break that trance spell is to listen to your favourite song. So when Max goes into a trance, they let the guys, Dustin and all, Steve know, needs to listen to her favourite song. So doesn't that song I just mentioned a few moments ago play a huge part in it said? It knocks her over trance. Then they find out that there is a new gate to the upside down, which is called Watergate, because it's underwater. So some of them try to break it. They do. They dive into the water, they go into the upside down, and then find a way to get out of the upside down. But in the meantime, LL, almost at the end of Pop has told her if really needs to get her powers back, he needs to dig a little bit deeper in these dreams and that magic Batubby thing. And then we find out who that guy is. We find out that guy that's helping her is number one. He is just as powerful as her. He is the very first person with telekinesis. He then goes on this big spiel of he kills everyone in the whole mental facility, saying we're the same, we should be trapped like animals. Ellis is distraught because he's killed all the children. And back in the upside down, Nancy gets dragged back by Vecna. He then shows Nance how he became who he is, and lo and behold, Vecna is the little boy who is the actual order security guard in L's past facility. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, huge spoilers and all that jazz. And then they have a little battle, L and the guy Henry Creel, who was the kid, as I just said. They have a battle. She sends him upside down. So when she forced a portal, that gateway to the upside down, she sent him there. And then he's coming back for revenge. That's not, Oh, God. I really enjoyed the first 7 episodes. Although it is quite long, there's a lot of filler. There's a lot that didn't really need to be there. So many subplots are going on all at once. You've got the stuff with Hopper in prison trying to break out. You've got Joy going across to Alaska to help Hopper with Murray. Then you have Mike. You've got Will. You've got one of the new characters who and fucking Will's brother Jonathan, and they're all trying to go and rescue Elle. We have Elle's obviously main plot where she's in the facility and she wants to get her powers back, but she go back home and watch past memories that she does not remember to regain her gifts. We then have the guys in the underworld, in the upside down. So there is a lot going on, and there's a lot really to take in. And because each episode is so long, you're often with one plot for so long that when you jump back to another plot, you're kind of like, oh fuck, I actually forgot that was happening. And this is really, I wouldn't say it's jarring, and I wouldn't say it's definitely not confusing. You don't lose what's going on. It's just one plot is on for so long that you're so invested of what actually is going to happen now that it jumps straight back to a different subplot that you're kind of thinking, oh, I forgot about this, and I was really invested in that part. Now I have to go back and invested in this part. But it still is really, really good, and the actors are always great, and it's really good to be back with the gang. That 80s feel, the music, the synth wave, the pop, always really, really nostalgic. It does have that, again, like always, the Stephen King, the Steven Spielberg feeling to every episode of Stranger Things. And what I just mentioned earlier on, it really does play on the There's a lot of Freddy Krueger, Hellraiser. It's a lot of those horror vibes in here that really work really, really well. I don't know how much longer they can get out of Stranger Things, so maybe one more season is just as well, because you can visibly see how older all the characters are looking. Obviously, it's 3 years since the last one. In saying all that, like the last 2 episodes, I know why did Netflix split it up with just 2 episodes of the final. Yeah, they're going to be an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours for the final one of this one. It just seemed pointless, really. Just give us the whole, just give us the end of the season, because you've got one more season to go. Who knows what's going to happen? They're going to point the mind flare, trying to shut the Upside Down forever. But it will be really interesting to see how Elle faces off with Vecna #1 in the last 2 final episodes. I'm sure they're going to kill off one of our lovable characters. They always kill off somebody. Most likely, I'd say it's going to be Ed Munson, one of the new ones. I'd say more than likely it's definitely one of the newer characters that will be killed off. But it's such a great series. The nostalgia is really what pushes you to love these characters, to love this story. And you're never bored, no matter what. You're never bored, you're always invested. And that's the main thing. Even though it's a little bit long, it's a little bit subplotty, it's a lot going on all at once, but it's never confusing. And I'm really, really, really pumped for the final 2 episodes. And I do think it's just as well as only one more season, because I'm not sure how more they can drag it out. And I think 5 to 6 seasons, as I've always said before, is the way to go. So in saying that, please like, subscribe, but I will catch you on the next episode, hopefully for the final 2 episodes of Stranger Things. Peace.